what's up? It's Paul from Guitar World, and today is Bring Your Junior to Work Day. And what I have here are two brand new amplifiers from Fender, the Pro Jr IV and the Blues Jr IV. And I also have Rick Heins here from Fender to tell us all about these wonderful new amps. So take it away, Rick.
Yeah, so Blues Juniors, Pro Juniors, the whole Hot Rod line, they're one of those amplifiers that has been around for over 20 years now. They're the staple of backlines, musicians touring. They sound great live in the studio, the whole deal. So, you know, when it comes time to update the hot rods, we take it really seriously. So this time around, you know, we tried a few different things. We tried some player-centric modifications that we thought players would dig, and just gave kind of a whole new tonal flavor to them.
Yeah, I noticed, like, of course, starting with here, the Pro Jr, what I dug about it most is the fact that it has a real cool gradual increase in the volume area, so it's almost natural as to go into overdrive. So you have a lot more headroom before it starts to peak out and start to get overdriven, and that sounds really great. And of course the new lacquer finish over here.
Yeah, Paul, to your point, that was one of the modifications that we did to the amplifier. Is we wanted more of a gradual onset into gain. Initially it was like turn it on, clean, and then gain right away. So we thought we'd give you a more gradual flavor to it. It's really the first time that we've done a lacquer tweed look on the Pro Jr, which is really obviously one of everyone's favorites, the look. But the speaker is a Jensen. It's a P10Q speaker, which is a beautiful sounding, clean Alnico. It's got that sparkly top end that really...
Yeah, it's not harsh, and you have a lot more headroom here. Like I said before, that's really what's so engaging about this amp. The fact that already I'm at like 6, and it's still nice and clean and kind of crystalline. And then once you get past where you think it starts to overdrive, that's where it starts to overdrive.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's, you know, we realize guitarists love the idea sometimes of plugging in an instrument, rolling back the volume, getting, you know, their cleans, and then as they roll up the volume, gain comes on. So it does all that. It's like it's the perfectly executed sort of balance of clean and distortion. One of the great things is the speaker, which is a Jensen P10Q, which has got that great crystalline top end, but sounds great when you crank it up. Those sort of things, you know, the nice leather handle, it is just volume and tone, so it's one of those where, you know, you crank it up and you just go for it, but as far as one that sounds great in the studio, you can throw a mic in front of it and it's just going to sound amazing.
Yeah. Maybe I can show just a little bit of how it sort of starts to crank up.
Yeah, why don't we crank it up and see how it sounds?
Sure. Wow, that's just an amazing amp. That's just, like, as you said, it's very touch sensitive and it starts to grind where you need it to. What kind of tubes are in this one?
So this is kind of different from the standard Fender fare. It's actually EL84 tubes, which tend to have kind of a sparkle on the top end. But in this amplifier, I feel like you've got some of that tweed crunch to it. So that with the speaker, it's only 15 watts. It's a loud 15 watts. You know, I mean, it'll definitely, like, for smaller gigs, you can do that. But it's perfect for getting that amazing tone for recording and not, you know, pissing off the neighbors, I guess, right?
Awesome.
Yeah.
And now moving over from here to the Blues Jr, obviously this one is more for the modern classic type of player. 15 watts, correct? And I think what happened here is you changed the speaker on this one too.
Yeah, you know, to the point I mentioned earlier, player-centric modifications. You know, we try and listen to players, their needs and stuff, and so we want to offer something a little different. So the speaker is definitely a part of it. With the Blues Jr, we decided to go with a Celestion A-type speaker, which is their more American voice speaker. We felt that'd be a nice match with the amplifier. But not just that, you know, one of the things that we heard from players was they wanted a little bit more bass out of it, a little more low end, so it's got extended bass to it. And the tone stack has been changed slightly, so it's a little bit warmer. You get to the distortion a little bit sooner. And even the reverb, we tweaked it just a little bit so it's much more behind the note when you play it.
Right.
So it always sounds great, but never gets in the way when you're playing.
Right. It doesn't swallow up the sound of your,
yeah, absolutely.
Of the guitar,
So
right?
even when the reverb's cranked or the distortion's cranked, it's always in the right place.
And now the tubes in this are EL84s as well?
Correct, correct. Yes, it's kind of surprising. People assume that they only have a specific sound that's of an English flavor, but when you voice an amp a certain way, it's pretty amazing the tone that you can get out of it.
Yeah, I was just floored. I wouldn't even guess it was an EL84 in that, and it just sounds so full and fat. And I guess you're going to show me show us what it sounds like. So
yeah, I'm going to crank it up. One of the nice things on it is it has the the treble middle bass reverb, but then it has volume and master. So I'm going to turn up the volume, keep the master at the same place to get a little more grit to it.
Yep.
It does have a button for the fat switch, which gives you a little increased gain. This time around, the foot switch comes with it, so if you need it for a solo boost, you can do that.
Right.
But I'm going to engage that as well.
Okay.
Turn up the reverb and let you see how that sounds.
Cool.
Let's do it.
Yeah, that was great. As I said before, that the reverb really hangs in the back, and it just actually accentuates all the notes that you're playing. So really great sound.
Yeah, we think it's the perfect amount of reverb for the amplifier, no matter how loud you crank it. The other small things, but still important, we updated the handle on this, so it's more like the vintage reissue, so it's a really strong, rugged one, so you're carrying around from gig to gig, you want that. Even the aged grill cloth, which is something that we did on the 64 Customs, we thought that was a really nice, subtle look. Small things, you don't want to mess with something that people love. So really, like I said before, player-centric mods.
Yeah.
We just wanted to make it sound the best that it could. We feel like every iteration we get closer and closer to kind of that tonal thing that we're reaching for.
Yeah, it's just like total touch sensitivity on both of these amps. It's all in the detail. Awesome.
Yeah, and they're at a great gigging price point, so you don't have to be precious about it, which I love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, the Pro Jr. 4 and the Blues Jr. 4. And I'd like to thank Rick Heins from Fender, who came out to tell us about it. And if you want more information about these wonderful amps, go to fender.com. All right.